Yeah. It's recording all of us, so.
Blink your nose.
What, like this?
Hi, it can't see me.
Everybody's live.
Oh, it can.
Please do not swear.
Bollocks.
Okay.
They're prettier than you.
Yes. I got some from Phil's.
Shiny.
I didn't prepare for this enough, so.
Enough.
Enough.
That sounds
Effectively.
scary.
That's
Yeah.
worrying. Yeah.
Effectively, we opened the box and we found it, didn't we? Or have you changed it from that?
Yeah, and no, it's not needing retconning. It's just needing a little bit more advanced planning than I thought it would have done. So I'm going to try something different.
That's cool.
How do you spell TPK? It's funny you answered that. I've got this new game.
Hey! Are we on a mission to kill ourselves? Because
Wow, no.
I'm ready to give it a go.
This one is called Open Legend, and it's got the backing of Ed Greenwood from Forgotten Realms, who's writing a setting to go with it. The rules are actually free online, which is cool, but they're doing a printed book through Kickstarter, and there's a learn by play adventure that I've got off the internet, which is kind of cool. And if I was to pitch it, I'd say it's kind of halfway between D&D 5th edition and Dungeon World.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's D20s and exploding dice, so you ever roll a maximum on one dice, you get to roll and add another one, and higher numbers is generally better. And it's things like... It's not dice pools.
Still.
Yeah.
Anything
Dice
above 10. They don't like him.
And it's very, very free and flexible character creation. So it's a question of you think of your character concept, you give it a name, and then you build your kind of stats and characters around it. One of the things which are really quite useful and make it quite flexible is that there are a series of things called boons and banes, which are banes are negative status effects, like persistent damage, which is where you keep on taking damage every round, or knockdown, so if you've been knocked down, or forced movements, or immobility, or blindness, or whatever. And boons are things like healing and flight, and scrying and augury and that thing. And you can almost, if you can fit it into the story, into the justification of how your character is and how you've described your character, you can use almost any attribute to do almost anything, as long as it's kind of makes logical sense. So, for example, for making melee attacks, normally you'd use might if you're using a forceful tagged weapon, or you'd use agility if you're using a precise weapon. Fairly obvious. There's one character build that I've seen on the internet that uses energy because they are described as summoning a sword of fire, and attacking with a fiery sword. The stats are fairly self-explanatory. The top 10, agility, fortitude and might, obviously fairly straightforward, so you've got dexterity, kind of constitution and strength. Then you've got deception, presence, and what's the next one? Persuasion. Again, fairly obvious. Learning, logic,
Perception and will.
Yeah, obvious. And then you've got the magical ones at the bottom, which again kind of correspond pretty much bang on to like the D&D schools of magic.
Yeah.
And as it's a learn by play, it starts with character creation,
Hey.
Huzzah!
which is always a good thing.
Right.
Right, so you thought the job would be easy. Hitch a ride on a trading vessel and protect it from pirates, and earn a little bit of gold and a free trip to the City of Sails, all in a day's work for an adventurer like yourself. But there's not much your swords and arrows and spells can do against a typhoon. You don't remember much. Oh, I now remember the wrestler.
I was thinking of a cup of tea.
Okay.
We've been attacked by a giant cup of tea.
You're only getting an ooh, boo. You don't remember much. The flash of lightning, the howl of wind, the doomful crack of the mast as it split down the middle. But one memory stands out perfectly in your mind. Travelling aboard the ship was a fortune teller, An old hag that was a great aunt to the captain or something like that. On the night before the typhoon struck, she told your fortune. This would be you, Kelly.
Okay.
And her words are emblazoned in your memory. A star once fallen upon the land brings sword and axe and spell at hand. For planted deep like evil seed, it fills heart, soul and mind with greed. Shoulders broad and voices tiny, ceaseless war of clashing armies. In sleep the beauty whispers well, but her worm-tongued song is ever fell. A royal staff in hands upright shall end the long eternal fight. But try you might and try you may, the star will rise another day.
Ominous.
Call her back.
Okay, character creation. Each player will control a unique character of your own creation, and effectively, if you think of the kind of standard Dungeons and Dragons fantasy gaming tropes, but if you want to play something different, go for it. If you want to play a centaur, you can do. If you want to play a half centaur,
Fawn.
you can.
Good, I guess.
One of my legs is a horse.
Yeah.
One of you.
The other's a cow.
One of the characters that I've kind of worked out how you could play is Erica, who is like officially not an angel, but is an angel, maybe. Yeah. Attributes range from 0 to 9, with the higher the better. Okay. The way attribute bonuses work is that if you have an attribute of 1, when you roll your d20 to use that attribute, you also roll a d4 as well. Attribute 2 gives you a d6, 3 gives you a d8, 4 gives you a d10, and an attribute of 5, which is kind of the highest you can start off with at character creation, gives you 2d6 extra.
Okay.
It's relatively easy if you want to be kind of specialised or well-rounded or a bit more of a jack of all trades, because it's normally in the full version of creation it's points based.
Yeah.
But if you want to be specialised, you get a 5, a 4, a 3 and 3 2s.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be a bit more well-rounded, you can take 2 4s, 3 3s and a 1.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be a jack of all trades, it's 4 3s, 4 2s and a 1. So if you have a think about what kind of character you want to play, that's where it kind of goes from it. So if you give it a name and an archetype, so
What's
if you
an
want archetype is kind of like
Don't something up like
a general summing up for it.
Cool.
So some of the characters that I've done, one's a mind knight, one of them's a one-trick pony who's basically a big barbarian who does one thing really, really well. But
I'm sticking with my Bioware faves.
is that slutty thief or slutty wizard?
Slutty thief.
Slutty thief.
We're going Isabella.
Don't
Pirate
forget,
wench.
laws of Lodos apply.
She doesn't have a...
The less you wear, the more powerful your magic.
Yeah.
And if you're wearing a cloak, it will generate its own wind in order to blow
There's no
around.
cloak.
Even if you're indoors. Magical wind.
She's pirate. Pirate. Thiefy wench.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of. Don't really know what to do.
I've got characters that I've done already.
Plant, spell.
Could do.
Yeah.
I was thinking, the only character I was thinking is slightly different and might be quite interesting. Trying to get outside my comfort zone,
Yep.
but still quite similar. Is Santa Claus from the
Legend of the Guardian.
yeah, because he's a bit more magic,
Yeah.
and he uses because I don't normally do magic and like
Yep.
magic. but
Isn't
he's
that
still
buff Santa with the
Yeah.
tattoos?
Yeah.
naughty, nice.
I've never seen that film.
You have to.
I've only seen the posters.
Yeah.
It's
Really
awesome.
good. It's really good.
Do you want to
Well-
borrow it?
I'm an evil illusion chicken.
A what?
An evil illusion chicken.
You're an
You got the-
actual chicken.
Yeah, like big chicken, kind of that big.
Are you a Zelda chicken that's kind of sentient?
I was
and
going to say,
decided
when
to
you said
take
you're a
over
big
the world?
chicken, are you Big Bird but black?
Big bird.
Sesame Street.
Oh, smaller than that.
Can you just reboot Dave, please?
The switch is just behind his left ear.
Reboot sequence activated.
No, imagine a Legend of Zelda chicken, just the size of a duck.
Which
instead
would
of a
make it,
chicken.
which
The
would
same
make it
size as a
smaller.
chicken.
Okay, the size of a swan.
Okay.
And black.
Turkey sized then.
So like a Dawlish duck.
Just a big chicken.
Why? I mean,
Buff chicken. A chicken on steroids.
yes.
And it casts illusions.
I love it.
Buff Santa.
Yeah.
Buff Santa.
Put it on
Pirate
there.
thief. Pirate thief. Wenchy pirate thief. That's what I am.
I'm going to be Arnold the Barbarian. Arnold spelled A-H-N-U-L-D.
Yeah,
It's not like when you play Conan. You're
Arnold the Barbarian.
and evil illusion chicken.
Yeah.
You said anything. That
I
was
did.
a silly thing to
I
say.
Kind of started with that. Okay, fine. We'll take first. So, if you have a think, if you want to be very, very specialised, as I said, 5, 4, 3, and 3 2s.
What do you mean by special?
As in, if you want to be just kind of a very, very one-trick pony.
Right.
Twos.
3.
I think well-rounded works. Mwah.
Down here, yeah?
And you divide those between all of these attributes.
All the way down to the
You're
bottom.
not always going to get scores
Right,
on
okay.
all of the attributes.
Okay.
So things that you don't necessarily want to do,
Yeah.
then you can leave them blank.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's the numbers
So,
that the middle one's working with?
If you want to be specialised,
Uh,
well-rounded is 2 4s,
Yeah.
2 3s,
Yeah.
sorry, 3 3s,
Yeah.
and a 1. Do it in pencil instead.
Okay.
What does that one say again?
What's pre-science?
Deception. Prescience,
Oh.
the
Yeah.
ability to see the future, or it's supernatural senses.
No, the one above
My
persuasion.
spidey sense is tingling.
Deception.
My
No.
Santa sense is
presence.
tingling. That's how
I can
kids
tell
don't
whether
find
they're
him.
naughty or nice.
Yeah.
It's like how much of a presence you have, like your charisma.
2.
If you're going to be an illusion chicken, then you want influence because that's the one that
Wouldn't
is
Altercation be?
alteration.
Alteration.
Alteration is physical alteration. Influence is
Is
controlling the
illusions.
minds of others, dominating wills, manipulating emotions, and creating illusory figments, deceiving the senses and cloaking with invisibility.
Oh, I like
Master
that.
of
What's
magic
What's the difference
spells
between
and
fortitude and
illusion.
might?
Might is going to be physical strength. Fortitude will basically be like your endurance and.
Alright, okay.
Oh my God! What a display of testicular fortitude!
Now I'm sad because I remember Vince McMahon's commentary.
What's energy?
Energy is just supernatural abilities
What
to
would these ones do?
conjure and control energy.
Learning, I presume, is how well learned you are. So that's like book knowledge. Logic is how good you'll be at like figuring things out. Perception is how observant you are, and will is how much mental kind of toughness you have.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay, so if you have a 1 in an attribute, then the attribute dice in the third column is a d4. Very simple. If you have a 2, then it's a d6. If you have a 3, then it's a d8. If you have a 4, then it's a d10.